Well, a teacher, I think, one of the first important requirement is should understand the subject, what are they involved, and should also be able to connect the given topic with a broader area, not just narrowed down. To me, teaching has to be pyramidal. Students have to build up a base, at whether it's school level, at undergraduate level, or postgraduate level. So that is one requirement. The teacher must have a much better understanding, and also must learn, evolve communication, how to make the class understand. Like for me, teaching is not giving knowledge to students, but only initiating students in a given domain, in a given area. But teacher has to provide them the
It's something about like not filling the mind,
right,
but igniting the mind.
Yes, igniting the mind. Because that's what as many education has
because
stated.
once mind will be ignited, definitely the student will keep on gathering the knowledge from everywhere.
Exactly. Mind is not a blank space. Brain is not a blank space where you fill in with knowledge. You only have to stimulate the thinking process of the students so that they can learn. And of course, beside these students, the teacher must be a real role model, because students really adore good teachers. And well, primarily I think the problem is same: schools, college and university. Everywhere, the way we are teaching today, by and large, we are killing their curiosity. And that's a major problem. Right from school, we teach them, we just give them information, instead of making them curious about what is all around. See, science is nothing but to make one curious. I mean, the whole basic part of science starts with curiosity. And so if our teaching process, if our books, curricula can make them curious, if we in the young mind and asking questions, what will happen, what if, and if that is unknown, that's where the curiosity comes in. And that's where students will get curious. And that's what I think we are missing completely.
How much do you think that nowadays, when the school kids and the children in the cities, where nature is going very, very away from the cities, and you hardly see a nature in a pure form, in a raw form. It's all manicured gardens and manicured parks where the nature is not in its raw form. So do you think that a child who grows in a very natural and in a very...
they will have to face many more different kinds of things, conditions, and they will be obviously curious. They will see many things which a boy or child confined to a city will not see those things, will never experience those things, will not be able to tolerate the diversity of nature that happens. And to understand, to be a good scientist, to be a good person, to ask questions, to learn questions, one has to experience many things. Then only questions come in. And this is a major problem.
So in a way, like, the deficiency of nature and the destruction of the nature in the cities is also one of the reasons behind the less and less curiosity and less and less mechanical kind of mind.
Because all learning has now become mechanical. We learn everything because it's available, and therefore we learn it. There's a ready-made and what it is. Unfortunately, what happens is today's teaching in schools, because scientists have generated a lot of knowledge, and we think they should all be known to the child. And therefore, what we learned in our days in schools is something, or what we learned in university is now something that we think should be taught to the child in school itself. This is wrong. Yes, we should give them broad ideas, how develops are, but we should not fill them with information. We destroy their curiosity. Because if you have more information, your curiosity is going to, one begins to think, I know all, which is never the right way of doing things. A child will come with beautiful answers when you leave them alone to think about, which is not happening.
In your journey as a teacher and as a guide to many research students, how many research students have you guided for their PhD so far?
I think about 30 or 31 have finished.
So the students who join PhD now, they are excited also, but somewhere they have a very fear kind of factor also, that where will the research end, will we get a result or not.
And frustration is an occupational hazard in research. in all fields, but particular research because you are asking for unknown. See, if you knew something, then there's no research in this. In research, when we are doing, we are asking for something that we do not know, and therefore we may not get the result that we expected. We may not get any result of something that takes us forward because we are doing experiments and experiments. Instead of my saying, okay, I know this and this is all we want to do, you need to know. Research has to flow like a river. As where it finds a gradient, where it finds a question, something coming up, you move in that direction. One can, new pathways have happened with almost every school. But in some cases, for example, I can say one of the very bright student, Pradeep Sinha, who is now remarkable. He came with his own question that I want to do this. 2 years later, it didn't work out. He changed the path already. And he did remarkable work. So this can happen. Sometimes you begin to think a question, it doesn't work out because either we don't have the facilities, we don't have the way to carry on everything, or sometimes the system doesn't, the question that we ask and the hypothesis we make may turn out to be wrong, and therefore things don't work out. But this is all part of research. This is all part of curiosity, and one has to remain that, and then only things work out.
When we talk about like all these 30 students that have done research under you, most of these researchers have been like basic research in basic science. And there is the one thing, applied research, where you develop something for the humankind or something like that. What is your take on this? Like in a country like India, where there are so many crunch of resources and there are many things which are in priority, and we don't get funds for even those things which are in high priority. Lot many basic ailments, lot many basic infrastructure problem. So in such scenario, in a country like this, how do you think that a lot of funding for basic research is justified?
My idea of taking research was to do research in human diseases. That was my childhood dream. And so I took biology, but then once I finished, I also knew that I liked teaching and I want to do teaching. I said, no, I want to be in university and I want to be a freelance researcher. I don't want to work in a given defined area. I have my own questions and I would follow that. And I didn't accept, although I didn't have a job, but I was very clear that I want to do basic research, just to understand basic questions in genetics. That's what my area. And we have gone on. Now, what you are asking is all right, how relevant it is in a poor country like India. Yes, in India, we cannot have only basic research going on. We need that basic research to be translated, information that is generated to be translated into something that is useful. It had 3 layers: universities, the CSIR labs, and industry. CSIR labs or any other research institution. University was supposed to be charged with spreading the knowledge and creating new knowledge. That's basic research. Research labs were to take that basic knowledge generated by universities and, in concert with the industry, convert that into applied value. Now this is what the model was. Unfortunately, it didn't work very well. What has happened today is even research institutes have become PhD producing systems. The linkage is gone, and I think that's wrong.
Develop the questioning or the curiosity attitude as the parents, what they should.
Well, the one important point I would say is parents should not insist that their child should be this and this, should learn this or take a profession of this and this. Yes, they can guide the child, because child will know what is it. But then parents must also be able to examine the inherent likings and dislikings and talent and less talent in what area they are. See, today what has happened is, unfortunately, we always talk, a bright child must study science, then must take up medicine or engineering or something. It's completely wrong. Don't we need bright people to take up arts, music, literature, history? We need them there also. We don't need dullards only to do this and then get everything lost. And each child cannot develop in every direction. We should have equally good counseling sessions for parents. That how should they ensure that the child does what child likes and enjoys. We have many examples where they have been put in a profession where they don't like and they become misfit from all directions and get more and more frustrated.
From schooling itself, that you go into the science field, you go into the arts field. What is your opinion about this? Like, definitely there is arts in science also, and there is science in arts also.
Yes.
It's very difficult to kind of, it may be like a big tree with one big trunk and then branching into two things and then growing differently, but
there's an artist in every human being. The question is which way we develop, how far we develop. For me, fortunately, from childhood I've been seeing in the family, my father and elder brothers engaged in various cultural activities, artistic activity. I was somehow never involved in this. I was, compared to all my four brothers, I was the one who was completely lacking in this kind of cultural, so-called cultural activities. Somewhere put me in that direction. And I began to enjoy it silently, unspoken. And now I realize that, okay, reading novels, reading literature, reading poetry gives a joy of its own. And in fact, it may have many other effects, but one good impact it has is you learn how to write, how to speak, how to make your communication better. And I think that is necessary. One shouldn't begin to think of that, okay, this is scientists and therefore they don't need